Would you believe it if I told you that after Ubisoft came out with this Attack on Titan free DLC, that not just a couple days later, they would be copyright claiming the videos posted on it because they're so embarrassed from it. But they didn't stop there. After they started copyright striking and taking down these videos on social media, they announced they're going to be canceling the DLC part 2 for Assassin's Creed Shadows, effectively ending content for the game. The same game that they claimed that was a success, they are now saying they are not doing any more DLC for it, or at least canceling DLC part 2, which tells me they're done with this game. And honestly, they probably should have said that a long time ago. But again, the game is apparently doing well, according to, the Sony ponies and the people that just love Ubi slopping DEI. Pirate Nation, Ubisoft started copyright striking videos on X that criticize the new Assassin's Creed Shadows DLC. Learning the law, Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows. Finally, we've reached peak slop in the purest form. This media has been disabled in response to a report by the copyright owner. They actually did it. They didn't want videos of this out there. Now, as far as I understand, nobody on YouTube got any copyright strikes for the content of it. That would have been nuts. But the fact that they were doing it on X, on Twitter, to try to soften the blow, it's like way to Streisand your company once again by doing this. Because now more people are going to talk about it and be like, what the hell is Ubisoft doing? Why are they trying to silence people? This was in response to, initially, Push Square says, Assassin's Creed Shadows patch 1.1.6 out now on PS5, but the cool Attack on Titan armor is paid DLC. So while the DLC itself was free for the Attack on Titan collab, the armor that goes along with it, you had to pay for. And then when people started sharing it on social media, Ubisoft was copyright claiming it. And then, just a couple days later, they announced, and this is from IGN, Ubisoft no longer plans to launch a second major Assassin's Creed Shadows expansion. And the comments were there. Faka Girl. A shame, really. Clinic laughing. Zembro. No, guys, you don't get it. You see, AC Shadows is such a massive success that Ubisoft doesn't even need to make more money with it. This game blew all the other games out of the water to such an extent that Ubisoft was like, whoa, buddy, that's enough. Like, damn, leave some money for the other studio. The thing about this that confuses me is you'd think a game Ubisoft said is overperforming and exceeding expectations would have a second DLC planned, no hesitation. Something is very off about this game's post-launch. And it's almost like Ubisoft lied. Again, on top of copyright striking on social media. And I'll be honest, if they could get away with it on YouTube, you bet your ass they would have been doing it on YouTube too. That would have been a shit show. If they started copyright claiming people just showcasing and discussing the free Attack on Titan content and roasting it, that would have been the worst look possible and potentially even legal issues as well, like copyright abuse. This is Assassin's Creed Shadows interview with post-launch director Simon, AC Shadows DLC. This is the conversation from Joe Raptor, who exposed what is happening with the second DLC with the director, Simon. Here we go.
But yeah, like you say, okay, the planning, and I would imagine that at one point a second DLC was planned if you were talking about pre-orders and a gold edition and all that sort of stuff. Can you say if that's still happening, a second DLC, so on the same level as an Awaji?
Yeah, well, so we live in a murky world these days. So with the caveat that anything...
Hey, we live in a murky world, a.k.a. Ubisoft is somehow still in business when they're in $2 billion worth of debt. Very murky world, yes.
can happen in the future, because as Mirage just proved, and as the crossover stories from Odyssey to Valhalla also proved before it, things could come up in the future. But as of now, at this moment, for year 2, there is no expansion on the size of a Waji that is planned currently. So we're still working on content for post-launch and supporting it, but it's not
Bro, stop bobbing your head,
the
man.
way a season pass would have had in the previous years. And whether or not this is the right way to go or a good learning, I think it's more of an experience we're trying with Shadows, is to keep it things small and reactive.
This is what, from your favorite quadruple A studio, making a massive game that allegedly costs upwards of $350+ million or more, and you have the studio director for the game saying, we want to keep it small. Well, shit. Isn't this the same company that said that this game is a success, and that Ubisoft is making record profits when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows? Didn't you guys just say something along those lines? I'm so confused, because it's almost like I called you out for lying, and now we're finding out that you were lying. Weird.
And see how the community feels about it and react to it. And the learnings that come out of that will be applied to whatever other projects we do next, certainly. So,
yeah, okay, interesting. I do think that is disappointing for
a dude, by the way, who has over 1 million subscribers, this Joraptor guy. This video only has around 10,000 views on it from 2 days ago. And you'd think if you had 1 million subs, you wouldn't be bobbing your head like this. You'd be a little bit more like, I don't know, used to doing what you're doing. It's just, I know it's a little bit off topic, but it's very distracting.
On people, because obviously with a paid DLC, it has some sort of different expectations. But are you now kind of saying that there, like, if we look at the overall, of course, like, maybe budget is not the right word, but the effort you guys are putting in for the post launch and around the resources you're using, instead of going for a second DLC, we're now seeing that instead us like drip feed it into free updates? Or are we still seeing some things like that?
I think we're trying to readjust.
What even was that question? Like, I think I know what he's trying to get to, but it was very roundabout.
For year 2 a little bit. So there's learning from year 1 that we can apply to year 2. Any content that we want to do in year 2 is probably going to be more sparse. So not a drip feed, like you said, but more like chunkier updates that are more that shake things up a little more. So
that literally doesn't mean anything. Parse, chunkier, shake things up. Bro, are you gonna make DLC or not for it? What is this? What are you even saying?
I'm not.
You know what it is? I don't think he even knows. I think upper management, he's waiting on approval for what they're even doing with this game right now. So he's just spewing bullshit. He's like, I don't fucking know what we're doing with this right now.
Saying anything at this point, but the strategy for the year 1 was to be quick and reactive. So it means smaller drops often. For year 2, okay, we got a handle of, we don't need to put fires out or anything. So it's more about, okay, what good chunky little piece of meat, sorry for any vegans out there, we can drop and have people come back to it and enjoy it. So not to the size of a DLC or an expansion, but to, something like yesterday's update plus, something at minimum this size.
The Attack on Titan DLC was so bad. And the script writing for it was so terrible that people across the board that even liked the game were saying, like, this was written by millennials. The Attack on Titan, the just big naked dude just roaring at Yasuke and Yasuke just yelling back at him. That was the conversation that took place. Just a lot of screaming. It's like they couldn't come up with anything better than that. Just screaming at each other and then running. Really? That's the best you got for the storyline?
I think maybe, I'm not sure if you played it, but the Forgotten Saga in Valhalla, the sort of roguelite mode they did, it kind of sounds a bit like that, or is that maybe a bit too big?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay. But that is interesting. So, basically to recap, you're saying, okay, I mean, we're still in year 1, so you would say that the first 3 months of 2026 will still be similar to this, or will we already see that that longer update cycle with more substantial updates starting in the next year?
We're already starting gearing up for the next year. So it's like to us, I know we shipped in March, but like year one sort of comes out to a close this Christmas or this holiday seasons for planning reasons. And then we're taking the next year, like we're changing gears, so to speak. So that's the way we approach it behind the scenes, at least.
Okay, that is very interesting. And
what a great interview. Ask a whole question that's like, okay, that's very interesting. Next question. Like, he's not even listening to what the guy says. This is meaningless. This guy's not giving any information except for we canceled part 2 of the DLC. We're gonna give chunks instead of content. The fuck does that even mean, bro? What's that even mean? Ubisoft stock. The past 6 months, not doing so hot. Although I will say, ever since it got paused and got the check from Tencent to come back in, I thought it would bounce back. I said this at the time. I'm like, it wouldn't be the worst investment, not financial advice, but the properties that Ubisoft owns, even after the Tencent deal, there is still value to be unlocked in that company. So bankruptcy would not necessarily be the first option for them currently. But if they keep going down the road they're on right now, it absolutely will be. And we'll leave it at this. We got the Steam charts for current look at Assassin's Creed Shadows. All-time peak of nearly 65,000 people. That was 8 months ago. Now, 2,446 people. This is after new DLC release for it. This literally no one went back to play it for that. There's less people than when before the DLC drop. There's less people that even care. No one's playing it. It's so bad. It's so bad. I wonder why. By the way, I wonder why nobody wants to be playing this. I think if I had to point at one thing with this creature on the screen, it proves that Ubisoft's talent on this game graphically is just not there, among many other things. When you maximize the character size, you see the imperfections, and you line that with on top of they don't fix it or the facial animations or anything. And I get this is trying to be like a play on Attack on Titan. I get all that because of the DLC. But it just looks bad. It looks like an indie studio that whipped this together. Like, this looks like, if you told me, you ready for this? If you told me Yasuke Simulator had an update and this was one of the bosses you fight in it, I'd be like, that's fucking funny. Let's go. Because this looks like it would fit in Yasuke Simulator. Like, the style of this guy, it's like, it's so off-brand. It's so cheap. It looks like a Temu version of a AAA game. Yet we see this in a AAA game. If I was working at Ubisoft and I published this, I would be embarrassed. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's pathetic. So they can hate me all they want. I'm just telling them like I see it. This is the reality. And I know I'm not alone on it. So they can copyright strike people for their opinions all they want. It doesn't change reality. That this is terrible. Lol no Google, what's up? But will there be an unofficial War on Giants DLC update to Yasuke Simulator? Google, I'm telling you, if they did that, that would be insane. Like, I would go back to playing Yasuke Simulator for that. I would. I'm like, because it fits in the game world. Like, that's part of what that game was. We're going from Assassin's Creed Shadows that was billed as realistic tribute to feudal Japan. And then they do this. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Someone sent me an email, by the way. They live in Italy. And they said, I admire your work and I support your content. I have Assassin's Creed Shadows on Steam. And I noticed something peculiar. I'm currently playing the game and I can confirm it's awful how Ubisoft wasted the chance they had. But here's the weird thing. The game achievements look like they're not really achieved. I couldn't help but notice that all the achievements I've unlocked have peculiarly low unlock rates. The first assassination achievement, for instance, which happens after about an hour of gameplay, has a 92% unlock rate, meaning that almost 10% of the owners of the game have barely even started it. Wow. Unlocking the player home drops to 82%. It seems odd since this was supposed to be the major Steam launch for Ubisoft. That is wild. Very low play rate. Almost 10% of people that own the game haven't gotten the first achievement on it. Yikes. That seems oddly high for a full price AAA game, I will say. Very, very curious.